This is a battery. It might not look like one, but this weight here stores the energy it took to move it up here. When it's released, it can power this light. A handful of companies want to build large versions of this, really large. High into the sky, deep into the ground, or up on mountains. It's called gravity energy storage, or gravity battery for short. And the companies behind them are making a buzz, saying they'll be able to store large amounts of renewable energy for times when supply is short, like when the sun isn't shining and the wind doesn't blow.
That's where a novel new energy storage technology comes to play.
Vision Fund announcing that it is investing $110 million.
Why are we not spending trillions right now to be building this stuff?
So are gravity batteries going to make it big? First, let's take a look at how these batteries work. When we produce more electricity than we need, like in the middle of the day when there's lots of solar energy, we can use that energy to lift a heavy weight. It just hangs around until we lower it again. The motor becomes a generator and feeds electricity back into the grid. This technology could be a good way to cut CO2 emissions. We need a lot of renewable energy and places to store it. The International Energy Agency says more than 25,000 gigawatt hours by 2040. That's enough to power countries like Paraguay or Tunisia for an entire year, and it's 2.8 times more storage than we have today. But those numbers don't fully capture the challenge. Today, most energy storage is pumped storage hydropower, so dams and reservoirs. We'll talk about that in a moment. But we won't be able to nearly triple that kind of capacity. So actually we need to expand other storage, not 2.8, but at least 22 times more than we can today. Now, that's a challenge. To achieve this huge growth in storage capacity, developers have mainly been looking at lithium-ion batteries, like the one on your phone or laptop, just a lot bigger. It has a number of problems though. We've made a video about it, which you can find here. In short, lithium mining pollutes the environment and exploits people. Sometimes the batteries catch fire or explode. They degrade rather quickly. And today's grid-scale lithium-ion batteries can store only a few hours' energy to cover daily peaks in demand. But with more and more renewable energy, we need even more reliable, short and long-term storage. That could be 6 hours, 6 days, 6 weeks, or even months. Like I said earlier, pumped storage hydropower is great for this. It's been around for more than a century and still makes up over 95% of our storage capacity. You pump water up when there's an energy surplus and let it flow down through turbines when energy is needed. Notice anything? Yep, that's gravity at work. Pumped hydro is tried and tested, but doesn't work just anywhere. It requires lots of construction work and disrupts natural habitats. And you need a hill and a lot of water. It's not easily scalable, but the gravity principle is.
We basically mirror that same process, but instead of water for one of our solutions, we use blocks.
That's Robert Picconi, co-founder and CEO of Energy Vault, which currently is the biggest gravity energy storage developer.
There's essentially, depending on the size of the system, can be up to thousands of them per system.
Back in 2020, Energy Vault built this prototype in Switzerland. 6 cranes stacked the concrete blocks up to a height of 70 meters. The prototype proved that the concept works, but it also received criticism, such as that the structure didn't comply with building codes or might not withstand extreme weather. And the thousands of tons of concrete that went into the blocks are anything but climate friendly. So Energy Vault came up with this gravity battery building. Thousands of blocks are lifted or lowered and then stored horizontally, as seen here. The first battery of that kind went into operation in Rudong in Jiangsu province in China in May of this year. It's taller than the Great Pyramid of Giza and stores more than 3,500 blocks weighing 25 tons each. They were made on site from excavated soil, but the company says it could use waste materials such as coal ash or old wind turbine blades.
And it's 100 megawatt hours, so that you can think that equivalent to powering about 35,000 homes.
But only for 2 to 3 hours. The company plans to build 4 gigawatt hours of gravity batteries for China, or 40 times this one. Another smaller storage facility is supposed to go online in Snyder, Texas this year, and plans are underway in southern Africa too. The company has drawn hundreds of millions of dollars from investors, including oil giant Saudi Aramco and Leonardo DiCaprio. Because you must admit, it all sounds very promising. It's predictable like pumped hydro storage, but can be built pretty much anywhere. It doesn't need scarce resources, and it lasts a lot longer than lithium-ion storage. That's because with lithium-ion, chemical processes, aging and heat limit battery life to no more than 15 years. Look at your phone and how long the battery lasts now compared to when you bought it. It's the same thing. Gravity batteries could in theory lift a weight and keep it up for 60 years. The motors might need replacing, but the weights and stored energy would remain in place.
The biggest drawback is the costs.
That's Evelina Stoicu, Senior Research Associate at Bloomberg NEF's Energy Storage team. They recently published a study comparing several long-duration energy storage solutions, including gravity storage.
And what we found is that gravity batteries had the higher average cost and higher cost range from all the other long-duration technologies. One of the reasons that they have a very high cost is because they have very low energy density. So you need sort of larger infrastructure in order to get the same, in order to store the same energy as you would need for a lithium-ion battery, for example.
The gravity battery in Rudong stores the same amount of energy as this lithium-ion battery. But the gravity battery needs much more space and building materials, so the initial cost is higher. It also loses out in other ways. Storage operators earn their money by discharging the energy and selling it for more than they paid. Chemical storage like lithium-ion can react in milliseconds to market needs, which allows for a lot of quick profit-taking. A gravity battery mechanically lifts and lowers weight, which takes time and limits profit options. So gravity battery capacity is more expensive. Right now, it's double the cost of lithium-ion technology. But developers like Energy Vault want to convince investors to think long-term.
Because they have such long lifetimes of 50, 60 years, which is considerably higher compared to lithium-ion, they may claim that levelized cost of storage over the duration of the project lifetime is lower.
If the high startup costs of gravity batteries even out over time, partly due to the low cost of maintenance, that might make them competitive in the long run. But can we make these batteries cheaper now? Let's go underground.
The deeper the mine, the cheaper it is, the more energy you can store.
Julian Hunt has been researching gravity batteries for a number of years. He's proposing to put them in the shafts of decommissioned mines.
We looked at 1,500 underground coal mines, and from these coal mines we estimate a capacity of 70 terawatt hour of storage.
70 terawatt hours of energy is huge. It's what the entire world needs in a day. And it's 700,000 times the capacity of this. And that's just old coal mine shafts, which are particularly deep. Abandoned metal mines could also work. 2 companies from Scotland and Australia have built small pilot projects above ground and want to install gravity batteries in former mines in Europe and Australia. The idea is to have a small number of very heavy weights moving up and down the empty shaft. Installation costs for this kind of gravity energy storage could be fairly low.
Underground mines have the road access, they have transmission lines into the mine, so you can use that.
Gravitricity and Green Gravity hope to go online with this type of storage by 2027. They say the energy could be stored for up to 9 or even 12 hours. But Julian Hunt is looking for longer storage times. Much longer.
So, for example, from one season to another, from one year to another.
Energy could then be stored when it's really cheap and used when it's much more expensive, which could make it a profitable solution. Whether it's for hours or months, we'll only know if this system works as planned once it's been built. There are also some even bolder designs for efficient gravity batteries. Like sinking a giant piston into the ground and raising and lowering it with the water underneath. The idea has been around for years, but hasn't reached the pilot stage yet. Another idea involves weights on wagons on rails, going up and down a mountain. That idea is over 10 years old, but hasn't gone anywhere yet. Energy Vault is planning an updated version, which looks a bit like a ski lift with weights. They say this system could be more efficient than the standalone gravity batteries they are making now.
We don't do anything small in gravity. In fact, 100 megawatt hour in China is the smallest we would ever do. Everything we're looking at now for these applications of gravity, leveraging slopes and things, they're all multi-gigawatt hours.
And soon gravity batteries might be installed in skyscrapers. Energy Vault plans to do just that in collaboration with an engineering company. Gravity energy storage is still in its infancy. It can't compete with the scale and low cost of lithium-ion storage. But it doesn't have to, since gravity storage is intended for long-term storage of 6 hours or more. But there are other new technologies in that energy segment that are already more cost-effective today, like thermal energy, compressed air or gas energy storage. And according to Bloomberg NEF, the cost of gravity energy storage is likely to drop by only 2% per year.
I would not say we see this becoming mainstream. I think a big part of the excitement is because it's novel and so simple and so different conceptually to what we think of as battery.
So gravity batteries might become one of many options to store energy long term, but you probably won't be seeing many of these popping up near you anytime soon. If you want to learn more about other energy storage technologies like salt or even the ocean, go check out our channel and subscribe. We post a new video every Friday.